welcome to this Mark's Reviews and Tutorials video. So you've got your spa and maybe you're replacing an SP1000, one of the old spa Quip systems that are no longer have any spare parts available for them. This here is a spa system that has had that happen. So I want to show you here and just go through the installation, what's actually required. There's several elements of the installation that are required. You have to replumb the system, and it's quite a difficult replumb because this is bigger. So if something's smaller, of course, you can just put joiners in, but this is bigger, so you've got to create a bit of space. Now you can see under there's the motor where it was on this installation, and it was forward, you see, of the joining point here. So you've actually had to come backwards and then come around to come into the heater here. Now, when any plumbing, you want to use as least amount of elbows as you can, but in a situation like this, this wasn't able to go any further across, so that was necessary. And on the other side, you can see there's been some elbows and joining taking place as well. So just know it's going to be a bit of a plumbing job, and it's all in 50 mils, so it is not the simplest of jobs at all to put this in. Sometimes you'll get one of these new systems and it'll just go straight in, nice and simple. But SP1000, if you're putting in one of these systems, not so much. Now, that's the plumbing side of things. It has to be plumbed in the same way. This chrome tube down the bottom here is actually the heater. So the water passes through the heater element. Above it is all the electronics that are in there. Now, officially, plumbing, you can do your own swimming pool and spa plumbing at home. That's not an issue. Electronics though, you're not supposed to be looking at 240 volt or 110 volt if that's what it is normally, electronics yourself. So you'll have to work out in your local area what's legal and what's not legal. But with this off, I'll take this off and show you what's inside, because again, if you're switching from an SP1000, all of the plugs, like on your motor, are going to need to be changed. Now, because they've gone from the square, what's called a JJ plug with the little pins in it, and it goes to what's called an inline AMP plug. I'll pull one out and show you once we get inside. So either that's a matter of cutting the leads and putting the new AMP plugs on, and that's very difficult, and most electricians cannot even do that. But if you buy a retrofit kit, and again, hopefully you buy that from me, have a look at the link in the description. If you buy a retrofit kit, I'll put a link to the ones in the States, the 110 volt ones, and a link to Nillumbik Pool and Spa Service. You can look me up and buy one here in Australia. They are a lot cheaper in the States. Don't think you can buy a 110 volt one and run it here where we've got 240 volt, because you can't. You have to buy the more expensive one here that's set up and legally is okay for use in Australia. All right, so plumbing we've covered, electrical we're about to cover. So these things come with actually some leads to run pumps. The retrofit can either run a little circulation pump and a boost pump, or it can run, like in this case, a 2-speed pump. But it can't run a 2-speed pump and then another pump. It can't run a circulation pump and then 2 boost pumps. You need to go to a bigger controller in order to do that. That's normally a BP model. There are a few options, so if you want to talk about making it, you can contact me and I can supply with the correct part. Again, there is cheap Balboa stuff available online. The stuff I supply comes from Balboa and it has a full nationwide warranty. It's the proper stuff. It's not the stuff that's there cheaper online. Well, it's not that much cheaper, but it has no warranty, so it's not cheaper at all. Okay, I'll pull this cover off. We'll have a look inside. Okay, so that's what they look like inside. Now again, in Australia, inside open circuit 240 volt things is just for electricians. You're not supposed to be in here playing if you don't know what you're doing. And if you're at all a bit awkward and not sure, don't come in here and play. The retrofit kit comes with a new touchpad. This is the touchpad that comes with it. And you can also see that the touchpad has that black backing plate. Because again, switching off an SP1000, which is common for these guys, the hole is bigger. So you take your old touchpad out, you put then this supplied black backing plate in, and then the new touchpad will just sit straight in on top. And then everything plugs down to the central system down here. Your touchpad is actually this flat cord coming in and plug it in here. There's 2 plugs and you can use either plug. It doesn't matter, top or bottom. And then if you have a look at your wiring diagram, this is the lid. So inside the lid, you've got a wiring diagram, and it shows here see circuit pump. So that's where you plug your circuit pump if you've got it. Ozone, if you've got an ozone generator, that's where you plug it. Pump 1 goes in there, blower goes in there. So this wiring diagram shows you where to plug things. Now, as I said, I'll show you an AMP plug. Again, looking at this, you see there's 4 wires, 1, 2, 3, 4, and all these ones just have 3. The only thing that's ever going to have 4 wires coming in here is actually a 2-speed pump. It has one for one speed, one for another speed, then the neutral and the earth. This is the AMP plug. If your old system that you're replacing has the same plugs, hallelujah, just plug them straight in. But as I said, the retrofit kit that I supply has some leads that you can swap out. Again, in Australia, officially, that's supposed to be done by an electrician. Look up your local thing, because in Australia, you're also allowed to do some work yourself. You can't have a handyman come and change plugs or change leads on pumps. That has to be done by an electrician, but then in some states, you can actually do that work yourself. So this is the heater along the bottom. These 2 copper wires bring the power into your heater. That's 240 volts. Again, you can see this is open wires. They're not protectors. You don't want to go sticking your fingers on there when it's turned on. This is where the blower plugs in. You can see the 1, 2, 3 on the wiring diagram here, and then blower. These are these 1, 2, 3 relays in here, and then the blower is where that plugs in. These here are your temperature sensors. You don't have to touch these when you first put this in, but that's where they are and what they do. So the wires I've got coming in here, I've got a black and a white here. This is the light. Again, retrofit comes with plug, wires, and the back of a light. In under there is the light, and you could just put this new system into an existing light fitting if you've got the right one. It's a bit of a retrofit. So we've got the light coming in, black and white wires. We've got the touchpad coming in. We've got the blower coming in, and we've got the 2-speed pump coming in. And that's all that there is. They are then plugged into here. So which of these 2 does this plug into? Well, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we see here you've got AV, and then you've got circ pump, ozone, and pump 1. We are plugging into pump 1. And you'll notice on these, you see here the flat and then the circle, and it's got matching here with the flats. So that'll only go in one way, so you get it the right way around. That plugs in. So there you go. So when it comes to installing one of these guys, I'm also obviously screwing down and fitting the whole box in place where the old one came out. And the hard wiring coming in with the wires here, again, needs to be done by an electrician. But one little Balboa tip I will show you, you'll see here in the power block, you've got your active and your neutral. And the earth is actually coming in through the here out to this earth terminal on the outside. One mistake that I often see when I go and see these bars in a service situation is the electricians hook the earth wire back out and come into the earth block here. They have actually supplied a little hole so you can strip your wire back and then poke it through the hole in the plastic side, and you'll see it actually then goes into the earth block and earths out at that point. So that's one tip for your electrician. That's one point, that you bring your earth wire through the side, don't take it back out around on the outside. So that's it. When it comes to installing it, you need to plumb it into place so the water flows through it. You need to fix it, screw it down, and you need to plug in all of your bits. Your 2-speed pump if you got it, or your circ pump and your boost pump. Your touchpad plugs in here and your light plugs in here. So nice and straightforward. Now, if you have more than one boost pump, like a 2-speed pump and another pump, or a circ pump and 2 boost pumps, the retrofit kit will not do. It's not a big enough control panel for you. You need to get a bigger one, which is a BP. As I said, if you're in Australia and you're wanting to buy one, contact me, please. I don't have enough time for everyone to ring up and ask questions. I just simply don't. I'm one guy running a service company. But if you're wanting to buy one and get the system set up, then by all means contact Nillumbik Pool and Spa Service, and I'd love to help you out. Okay, so there you go. And that is the rough of how these guys work inside and how to put one in. And, you know, not that your temperature sensors ever should come unplugged, but here they are. Okay, one more. You'll see here these dip switches down underneath. You see that red block with the little white switches that go up and down? Here you have the controls for your dip switches. Now again, if you don't know what you're doing, don't touch this. But you got here on the bottom, high amp mode, low amp mode. When it's switched to low amp mode, whenever you turn your boost pump up, because this, again, it's 3 horsepower, so it's it's pulling a lot of power, it will turn the heater off when you're in low amp mode, so it doesn't melt. If you've got this plugged in, for instance, to a 10 amp socket, you can run the pump on boost or you can run the heater, but you can't run them both. It's too much current. So putting it on low amp mode means you can run it plugged into a 10 amp socket. If you want to have it on high amp mode, then you have to have it properly sized, big wire coming in and being hardwired through, not going through a plug. You can then have it on high amp mode, and what happens then is you can have your heater and your pump and your blower, if you want, running as well, because it's correctly electrical sized. So low amp mode is if you've just got it to a 240 volt plug and plugging it in, then you need to have either the pump running or the heater running, and it'll automatically do that for you. So if you're in the spa and the heater's on and you turn the boost pump on, it'll turn the heater off so it doesn't melt your power points and things like that. So that's one there. That's the high amp, low amp mode. Okay, just to finish off here with the pins, you see here the circ pump behavior, that's A9 switch and A5. If you come down here to your circ pump behavior with 9 and 5, if you've got no circ pump but a 2-speed pump, then you have A5 off, A9 off. It just talks about the different options that you've got and where to put the 5 and 9 switches. Let me see here. Also degrees, Fahrenheit, Celsius. If your spa's reading in Fahrenheit or Celsius, you want to change that, you can switch that switch there, A8, and it'll change it. High amp, low amp, I explained. And again, the spa actually has standard, economy, and sleep mode. So you can flick between the two right-hand buttons to switch between the modes. If you don't want it to do that, you can flick the A2 across and you'll have standard mode only. So if people are playing with it and it's being a problem getting switched to sleep mode, you want it just to be in standard mode, you can flick it so that it does that. So there you go. But as I said, a lot of the stuff inside here truly best left for a spa professional or electrician to set up. But if you're putting it in yourself, that's the information you're going to need to know. You're going to need to know to set those dip switches up to match your pumps. You're going to need that if you've got 2 boost pumps, this is the wrong system. You need to go for a bigger system. This retrofit kit that comes with the light, comes with the touchpad, comes with the little blocking off hole for the touchpad, comes with the extra leads. That guy is just for either a 2-speed pump or for a circ pump and a boost pump. Okay, there you go. Happy sparring. Trust it all works out well for you.